hopefully the audio is audible enough. I want to share my experience
On
the awakening, and I'm going to take you through year 2023. Yeah, probably like a snippet of 2022 as well, because that's when it all started. I mean, it started from the day I was born, but consciously and relatively, I'd say it started 2022 late, but it intensified 2023. So, for those who don't know, in 2022, I was doing my first year in varsity, and so I wouldn't attend some of the classes, because some of them were very unnecessary in my own view. Because what do you mean I have to attend an 8 a.m. class attending French? Like it doesn't make sense. And I was a very shy person. So we had to communicate. It was a lot for me. So on some days I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take time for myself, and I have to throw in the truth. I was lazy, Um, so some other days I'd feel like I don't want to go to class. I'd rather just chill with my friends on campus and just like speak about anything and everything, but the lecture slides. Um, so that backfired sometime. When was it? Around September, I think third semester, right? Second semester, the third block, girl, the third block. I think that's when it backfired. Because I'd skip majority of my classes that I skipped were French classes, anthropology, archaeology, and sign language and geography were pretty much fine. Um, so one of my lecturers called me into the office and, told me that if I keep going this way, I'm going to have to face the music. And so he just basically asked me, what's really going on with you, sis? And at that point in time, I had to lie, right? I had to lie because what else was I gonna say? If I told him the truth and I was like, bro, your class is boring, he would be like, okay, you deserve it. We'll go kick you out. So I was like, nah, it's because at home we've got, family issues and it's taking a toll on me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Yeah. And so he's like, are you getting any help? And I had to be like, nah, I'm not. That's why I'm not going home. So it was a very, you know, detailed thing. And I allowed myself to feel emotional at that point in time. And it's like, okay, we need to find a solution. And the best solution for now is for you to go to therapy, attend therapy so that you can cope and get that out of the way so that you are able to focus on your work. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start attending therapy. I booked my first lesson on campus and I went to go see a therapist. And lo and behold, that's when the whole journey started, because little did I know that fueled, or that was like the conduit of my awakening, because now I started delving deep into my psyche. As much as nothing was going on at home in the manner which I described to my lecturer, but there were so many things that I was not aware of. The year ended 2023 and 2022 ended. um so I went back home for, the holidays and stuff. And I got a hold of this book called The Conversations with God. And it's only in 2023, at the beginning of 2023, that I learned, or I started reading the book, which really opened my eyes. It shattered my reality, but in a very beautiful way. I feel like for me, my awakening was not so drastic, but along the way it was. But at the beginning, at the outset of the journey, it was so beautiful because the truth that I learned was so mesmerizing. It was so fulfilling, filled with love, that I was like, okay, wait a minute, what are we doing here? You know, I have to reevaluate my life. So not only was I having um, a internal crisis with my identity, I was also having like my personal identity as this individual who's been moving this way, who's been navigating life this way. But also now I came into this truth that, hey, what you thought you knew about the world and how the world is structured and who you are in essence has been a lie, my child. So you have to reevaluate your life. So remember, now I had to go back to, see, I had to go back to varsity. And I hadn't applied for residence. I decided to apply for various residences, right? Even though it was late, but I was like, you know what? It's fine, whatever. Because at that point in time, I also didn't feel enthusiastic about continuing this whole schooling journey anymore. Simply given the fact that there were so many other ways to make a living. Like when I learned, or when I came into the realization that you don't have to go to varsity, you don't have to, like get a degree in order for you to become a functioning member of the society. You don't have to do the whole 9 to 5 thing. You don't have to get married. You don't have to live your life based on other people's um experiences or based on other people's wishes. You can just pave your own way. And so at that point in time, I felt as though, you know what, I'm kind of indifferent about going to school. Well, not indifferent, but I was like, I don't really want to do it. But because my mom was like, you know what, this is because she didn't know what I was going through at that point in time. Um, yeah, so I decided to go to I found a race and then I moved all the way to race. And I remember the first day when I got there, I've had this inkling, like I knew from that point moving forward that I would not attend, that I wouldn't be, like I wouldn't attend any of the classes. But I felt somehow guilty because in my mom's mind and in my family's mind, she's at school, she's learning. She's like, she's learning, right? But to me, I'm like, nah, I ain't doing none of that. I ain't doing none of that. And for a lot of people, what they asked me moving forward or down the line when they learned that I wasn't really studying, the question that followed up was like, oh, so what's the reason? Weren't you connected with the course? Because I thought that you really loved geography. It also dawned on me, because funny enough, hey, even in 2022, I remember when I was studying, I was in my room back in 2022 at this race that I was living in, and I had this thought: are you studying geography because you want to study like geography the way that you're doing now, theoretically? Or did you choose geography because your innate love for nature? But I chose to ignore that question because I knew what the answer was. So I felt like I somehow psychically or subconsciously I was not ready to do that. But it also subtly had an influence in my decision making later on. Um, so I decided not to attend any of my classes. I had to do away with the friends that I had, and there's nothing wrong with those two lovely people. I still love them till date right now. Like I love them so much. But I had to, we had to part ways because now I felt like, you know what, I had to reevaluate my life, and it's only fair for me to do that for myself. I owe that much. I owe myself that much. So yeah, I learned more about myself, and I guess one of the reasons that I decided to drop out, there were so many reasons. It's not just me feeling like there's so many ways of making a living besides doing it standardly, doing going through, you know, the standardized format, not going that route. But it's also because I was not necessarily connected with the cause as much as I thought. So, circling back to the question that I had in 2022, am I really doing it because I have this innate love for nature and I want to immerse myself in nature? Or do I want to do it theoretically? Um, I love geography, no doubt. I really love learning how the world works, how nature is functioned. Um, this dog is making my mind go crazy. can't even formulate sentences, but okay, fine. Let's take accountability. Anyway, I really love how, the world is structured, how nature is structured, how it formulates itself, how it expresses itself. I love how it just speaks to you in ways that you can't even that's uncomprehendable at times. I still love archaeology. I love learning about our past societies. I love um, anthropology. I love sociology. I love philosophy, and I still study these things till date. So it's not necessarily, oh, I just don't want education anymore. Education is a scam. No, none of that. But it's just that I felt like the information that we were given was very biased, and that's one thing that it upsetted me the most. That you can't tell me that this is how history went when you can't paint history this way when this is how it actually happened. And that for me just frustrated me, and I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I might as well just let it out of the way. If I truly have um, control over my life and existence, um, I might as well just choose better. Um, so that's another reason why I decided not to continue with my studies. Yeah, what else do I have to say about my awakening? Yeah, so during my awakening, I had to let go. I had to let go of the friends that I knew. I had to let go of the people that I knew. I had to kind of reevaluate my life. I had to reevaluate who I was as I was coming into this truth. And one of the things that fueled me was, what is the truth? What are we doing here? What is the purpose of social manipulation, all of this indoctrination that takes place, that is occurring? What is the point of it all? What is the hidden agenda? You know, um, and the moment I found, or I learned, the moment I learned why they were doing it in the first place, it was whoa. I felt so frustrated, given that it was an interesting finding because I was happy but frustrated at the same time. I was happy um, because I knew that I was not powerless, but I was also frustrated because how many people are suffering? How many people are going through emotional turmoil, mental turmoil, most specifically mental turmoil, because certain people feel that it is wise for them to move the way in which they are moving. But then again, the absolute truth is that we all chose the roles. So it's very, very complex in a manner. It's very, very complex. So, um, I guess where am I currently? Where am I standing with my belief systems? I think that I'm pretty content with the truth that I possess, meaning that I acknowledge that there are two parts of the truth. There's the absolute truth, which is all encompassing, then there's relative truths, which are variations of the truth. That's what I've learned. Has it been hard to accept that? Has it been hard to um, live in that truth? No, if anything, it has brought so much peace in my life. And I find that when I communicate with a lot of people, or with some people in my life that I've met, um, for them it sounds absurd that, oh no, they can't be, it can't be, like, it can't be my face. It can't be, you can't have truth A and truth B. It's just, my truth is my truth. So it's been fun to watch, it's been fun to experience and witness. But yeah, that is the summary of my awakening, and how it's not in depth at all. It's not in depth, it's just an overview, a synopsis of my summary. Um, wait, what? Synopsis of my awakening, yes. I'm glad to share it with you, and I will see you in the next entry. Goodbye.